Hi there, it's Morris, and today we're going to talk about getting things done. Now, what you want to get done is determined on what's all in your head, and how you get things done is kind of like determined about how you can recognize these things as needing to be done. Um, I don't know if you've ever, at the end of the day, kind of realized there was a bunch of things you forgot about or you should have done, or you end up working till like 3 in the morning because you forgot all these important things that you should have been doing. So the first thing you need to do is realize how your brain works and what it's for, because it's a computational device. It's but people use it for storage. So that's wrong. You shouldn't be using it for storage. It's kind of like the kitchen counters in your kitchen. If you just one day decided to put all your coffee makers, blenders, can openers, and equipment, pots and pans and dishes, and just stored everything on the kitchen counters, there's no place to work. What would your wife say about that? Probably she would remind you that this isn't the proper place to store things and this is a work area, gently encouraging you to change your behavior, right? Yeah, right. Okay. So your mind's kind of like that too. It's used for storage, and so there's no room really for uh, figuring things out and setting priorities and doing what you want. So the first thing you need to do is get yourself a nice piece of paper, because this whole thing to me should be analog. I've tried it on a variety of computer programs and things, but it's just not working. So get yourself a nice 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Very nice, easy writing pen. I really like pens, so get one of those. And the first thing you do, you have to take a nice, big, healthy dump. Yeah, this is going to be what's called a dump list. So everything that's in your mind that you can possibly think of, you write down. You don't prioritize, you don't evaluate it, you just, if it comes to you as a thought, you write it. And you have to go very fast because you can think faster than you can write. Just write everything down. It doesn't have to be complete, but just write it down. So, and this isn't just a to-do list. This is aspirations and goals and what you want to do 10 years from now, or things that you should have been doing 10 years ago that you're still hanging in your mind as something that's not complete. The whole purpose of this is just to take a big dump. So get it out of your head, get it on paper, and then the next step is to go through that list and start crossing off the things that you really that just don't belong there, that you don't think you're ever going to do, stuff you don't really want to do, and just cross it off, because this is just coming out of your head really fast. So you cross off the garbage things. You probably will not grow up to be an astronaut. So if it's on there to be an astronaut, cross it off. But it will be ridiculous things like that because you're going fast with no evaluation and no checking. It's just putting it on there. So now you're going to go through and you're going to like take out the things that that really shouldn't be on your list. Then you want to number them with 3 numbers: for now, later, and maybe. Okay, so those are there's not a priority, it's just timing. So you just want to get a bunch of stuff you should be doing now, and by now I mean within the next few days, week, right? So you got your now, then you got your later. It still needs to be done, but you got a little breathing room, and that would be number 2 for those ones. And then the number 3 is the maybe ones, because maybe you want to do it, maybe you don't, but at least it's not crucial time wise. So now you got those 3 categories. So you've taken your big dump, you crossed off the things that are ridiculous, and now you're doing you're grouping by what's necessary now, what's necessary later and what might be necessary sometime, right? The later is after a week, and the maybe is maybe you're even going to not even do it. So now you got those three lists. Now you prioritize. You take your now list and you sort it and you go by what's most important to you. And you do the same with your later list. Your maybe list, that's for you to pick at as time goes on. But the two things that are important are the now and the later. Prioritize those things, and then you start at the top with the most important now thing. If you do it this way and you run out of time or something goes wrong, at least you have accomplished the most important, and the least important things, the most important and the most crucial things are going to get done. The stuff that doesn't get done, it's not as important and not as crucial. So there's no better categorization than that. If you do it any other way and you don't have time to get everything done, you're going to miss some urgent things and some important things. So this is just a great way. It's very simple. You've dumped everything out on the list, you crossed off the crap, and then you grouped it by now, later, maybe, and then you prioritize those two things of now and later. Then you start to work on it. Now, you want to keep this, like I say, on a piece of paper or 3 papers. You don't want to make a big science project out of this. This isn't something that you need to buy a program for, get spreadsheets out and sort, and it is a just get it done kind of a list. And what that does is your mind is now free to actually think and work and do what it's designed for, to be creative, to come up with creative solutions, to combine different pieces of information together, because everything's now on paper. Okay, so that's the that's the nuts and bolts of getting things done. Oh, there is the famous Dave Allen that has a whole system of getting things done. He called it GTD for getting things done. And a lot of people swear by him. And his 5 steps, I have it right here, is to capture everything, clarify things, organize, reflect, and engage. So he goes into a great detail, but the first thing is to capture everything, to empty your head. And so that's basically your dump list. But then he gets into more details of actionable steps and the very next action, and when you organize into actionable categories, and it gets kind of detailed and complicated. So I think you're going to get a lot of benefit out of this system if you just get this out of your head and onto paper, and then divide it up, like I said, by urgency and importance, and then prioritize and just get on it. And then you can your maybe list, you can do as you wish. I mean, maybe you're not even going to do that stuff that's on the maybe list. You might just like cross it off or just keep it there for storage, and maybe when you come into somebody that can help you with that, you'll get done. But at least it's not urgent and important to you. I want to play this this little 2-minute video because I was impressed with how the guy kind of broke down David Allen's stuff, and I do recommend that you take a look at it. But there are some people that really like to get into this stuff, and they've got lists and appointment books and binders and the Franklin planners, and they just go crazy because they just have to carry all their lives in this book and make sure they record everything and journal and diary and plan every move. uh, I feel sorry for people with such busy lives. But if you want to be able to be creative and think on your feet and to be open to new possibilities and new opportunities, and you're not stuck in your head with all these storage things that are sitting on your workspace, um, then do what I recommend. But here's a little video. So there's a lot of benefit to it, so that's why I want to
So I
play
was
it.
talking with David Allen, author of the book Getting Things
I don't know
Done,
if you can
about how to
hear
be more
this.
organized. And
Now, I'm thinking that you can't hear that. Let me see if there's a way I can get that done. No, I am not. Oh, I know. I'll just hold my microphone. Oops, sorry. I'll just hold this microphone over here by the speaker, and then it'll pick up fine. All right, here we go. I'll be quiet.
he asked me,
Why do you keep a calendar?
because if I don't, I'll forget where I'm supposed to be and when.
That's right. Your head can't handle that complexity. And like the complexity of your calendar, try the complexity of the rest of your life. If your calendar manages maybe 3 to 4% of your commitments and what you actually need to keep track of.
The other 96%, David says, are things like our goals, our projects, our to-do lists, what we need at the store, that phone call we need to make, all these other things we just let our brain, our psyche, try to keep track of.
The psyche actually sucks as a system. It'll remind you of stuff that you can't do at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is not very bright. If that was just one
says
thing,
call
that'd be bad
mom.
enough. But multiply that by about 1,000 and realize this buzz that's going on in everybody's head.
So David thinks we need a new system that captures that buzz and quiets your brain. The first step in this system is to get everything written down.
So capturing it, that's a first critical step. That is, I've got to identify those things that are potentially meaningful. Otherwise, my psyche is going to go, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. And this little monkey's going to start to talk inside my head.
But just writing things down isn't enough, because
If you look at most people's to-do lists, you see things like mom or bank. So you have to take it the next step. So now you've got to clarify what's the outcome I'm committed to. And then you say, well, what does doing look like? Where does it happen? So what's the very next action about mom's birthday? What's the very next action about the bank? Is that a phone call to make? Is that a surf the web to find out something? The third thing you need to do is you need to park the result. Otherwise, it goes back into my psyche.
the final two steps, David says, are to review those lists that you make, those parking lots for your tasks and your projects, and then, of course, to do them.
The big secret here about getting things done is it's not really about getting things done. I am now free and clear in my head to let my attention go where it wants to go or where I want to put it. It's about being appropriately engaged with your life.
And once you stop trying to keep all of those tasks and projects in your head and you quiet the jabbering monkeys, you'll find that you have increased capacity to think and be creative.
There we are. So let me put this back on. Hopefully it's not going to make too much noise. There we go. Alrighty. So yes, so that's all very nice and good. And that came from a website called lifehacker.com. And the video was called The 5 Pillars of GTD. And the guy, of course, is David Allen. So very nice guy. Made a couple of bucks with his little system of GTD in his book, which is great. But anyway, I encourage you to do like I said, and the first step, remember, is to take a big dump. And you'll feel a lot better. You really will. Okay, so if you like this video, click the little subscribe button down on the bottom so that you'll be notified when new ones come up. And I have a gift for you down there at selfimprovement.com/go. It's the organized mind, and that will also help things get you organized. And appreciate you watching, and make it a good day. Thanks.